What are these people thinking? This is from AP News, which is supposed to be a trusted news source, and they ran this report. From birth to death, Black Americans in a lifetime of disparities. And there are some stories in here today. I mean, we're not going to go through all of this. But, okay, I'm not going to go through this entire story. I might, because I want to get to the teenage story, because it's hilarious. But the quote from this statement was, why do so many Black women die in pregnancy? One reason, doctors don't take them seriously. Birmingham, Alabama. Angelica Lyons knew it was dangerous for Black women to give birth in America. I want you to go to the jungles of Brazil. I want you to go fly over to a third world country, give birth there. Then you can come back and tell me that it is dangerous. Dangerous for... What? Are you crazy? But no, let's react to this entire... Black Jews, no. Have asthma, and that comes from it. Okay, maybe. Oh, no. Here it is. Black kids face racism even before they start school, driving a major. From what? Little Johnny down the street, I'm pretty sure. He was called N-word when he was 4 years old. Like, what? What are these people talking about? I really want to get to this. Here it is. It's about some random kid named Lillian who lives in Ohio. And she goes to a predominantly white school. So, from AP, quote, for a 17-year-old Lillian, navigating a predominantly white school as a high-achieving Black girl were heavily on her mental health. Stop there. Could it be that the high-performance school, taking AP classes, working hard, late into the night, could that be what could be weighing on your mental health? Not because you're a Black kid in a white school who's hardworking. It's worse. Anxiety isolated Lillian from a close-knit family. She sometimes went days without sleeping, kept awake for her schoolwork, and the pressure she put on herself to excel. Lillian? Okay, look. You sound like a smart child, but putting pressure on yourself is not racism. Just gonna leave that there for you. Okay? Next point. Audience-sensitive comments and racial microaggressions felt relentless. Like what? Please give an example. And often seeking just as you're starting to become closer friends with someone. Okay. The school year alone, at least 4 people have tried, without warning, to touch her hair, which she loves wearing in puffs, braids, and other natural styles. Oh yes, we're so racist that, people want to see and touch your hair. In the 1950s, they didn't even want to be in the same school or water fountain as you. But no, we are so racist that they are going to touch your hair. This is how racist they are. I mean, this is practically an assault on her. What? Someone tried to touch your hair? What? I mean...
Yourself? Yeah, I twist it myself.
Oh. I mean, do you mind? Oh.
Yeah, actually, I do mind.
Oh, sorry.
But I mean, if you're really curious about it, there are tons of YouTube videos out now about natural hair, so maybe check that out.
But racist microaggression? No. Others told her she didn't seem like what they expected, leaving her wondering what they expected of Black girls like her. I don't know. If someone says you're not like I expected, just ask them. But I mean, it's not inherently racist. There are few teachers who were people of color at her school. She often felt like she had to work harder to prove herself capable and good. Okay, so here, where were we? All right, let's start again. Racism. Puffs, braids. Yeah. A few teachers who were people of color at her school. She often felt like she had to work harder to prove herself capable and deserving of the same opportunities and recognition that white students easily received. I don't know. I have a white teacher, I don't think I have to prove myself to him or her or to him. It seems that as she often felt, but in advocating for herself, she worried about coming across as too aggressive. No one said this to her. No one said you're coming across too aggressive. And this is a quote from Lillian herself. Quote, I think in predominantly white spaces we naturally coach with, we're softer, Lillian said. I just don't get it. What? Just be normal. Act the same way you wouldn't in any space. I have this large. I had to have this large space for things that I wouldn't normally have because my school it's like if I'm so aggressive, they're going to be known as the aggressive black school. It's going to be till one's going to follow me. Aggressive? What does he mean by aggressive? I just first of all, why is this news? Okay, this is one kid in Ohio who had this one thing happen to her that doesn't seem that bad. Right? Now, just so you guys know, I support her getting help for her anxiety. Okay? But I just don't think this is racism. I just think this is anxious. Is what I'm saying. But I don't think it's racism. I think she's just anxious, it's nerves, it's stress, but not racism. Okay? So this kid should be comforted, but no, it's not racist. Let's get to this story here. I want to read this. So fun. It was dangerous. No. Okay. As a public health instructor, he caught us in about racial health disparities and from the fact that black women in the U.S. are nearly 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy or delivery than any other race. Okay. So, you're saying pregnancy is 3 times more dangerous for black people than it is for any other race. What about abortions? You know, are those, is it dangerous for black women to get abortions in America too? Or are those, like, safe and everything? Like, there's no racial disparities there at all, obviously. Just saying. Then in 2019, it nearly happened to doctors and nurses who were told she was suffering from normal contractions as her abdominal pain worsened and she began to vomit bile. She says it wasn't taken seriously until a cesarean frame marketed to her body and a baby's heart plummeted. Slip up by AP, obviously that's supposed to be fetus, but move on. Rushed into the operating room for section. Multiple due that she nearly died of an undiagnosed case of sepsis. Even more disheartening, she worked at this university. Her experiences reflects the medical racism, advice, and incentive care that black Americans endure. It sounds like A, either bad doctors, B, maybe she just had a weird case and they actually thought they were contractions. Okay, so I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know. But, I mean, maybe she was just experiencing contractions. Or that's what they thought, obviously, but she wasn't. Black women have the highest maternal mortality rate in the United States, 6.9 per 100,000 live births, almost 3 times the rate for white women. That's an interesting statistic. I just don't think racism falls under. Black babies are also more likely to die. Yeah, true. But they'll just be killed, before they're born. But whatever. And also more likely to be born prematurely. I don't know if that has to do with racism, but like premature babies, really? Setting the stage for health issues that could follow them throughout the rest of their lives. Okay, but I mean, race plays a huge part, especially in the South. Okay, I'm in Texas, I'm pretty that kind of stuff, right? In terms of how you treat it. No, I don't know what she's talking about. So black anywhere in America is to experience higher chronic ailments like asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, Alzheimer's, and recently COVID-19. If you have a higher chance of getting the diseases, that's bad, but not racist. If I have a higher chance of getting COVID-19 than a white person, that doesn't mean that COVID-19 is racist. It just means our immune systems are different. They're far more likely to die, get sick from common ailments. AP, all you're doing is just giving me a bunch of random statistics about how I'm more likely to die than my white counterpart. But you're not telling me why it's racist. It's just been ascribed to genetics or behavior, when in actuality, an array of circumstances linked to racism, among them restriction. Linked where? Discrimination and bias in hospital settings have been disastrous. When? Okay, 1950s? Yeah, okay, this argument might stand up. But it is 2023. When this lady had her event, it was 2019. Okay? Are you... No. Okay. Over the past 2 decades, the high mortality rate among Black Americans resulted in 1.6 million excess deaths compared to white Americans. That's terrible. But you haven't linked it effectively to racism. You can't say, this is linked to racism, just move on without giving any proof. This might work for AP readers, but it's not going to work for me. If someone said, okay, people are 3 times more likely to die when they jump off a bridge than when they jump off a boat. This is linked to the color purple. This shows the nation's health disparities and just move on. No, you have to give me direct correlative proof. And you just said, oh, it's linked to racism. And then you just, no, that doesn't work. A year-long AP project found that the health challenges Black Americans endure often begin before their first breath. Wait a second. AP, what are you doing? They can't be Americans before they take their first breath. They're fetuses. What are you doing? You're messing up for your own side. So it looks like we have our little hierarchy here. So it's racism, abortion. Okay. Right. AP. See? The AP conducted dozens of interviews with doctors, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You gave interviews with doctors and medical. Angelia Alliance pregnancy troubles began during her first trimester with nausea and severe acid reflux. She was given medication to alleviate her symptoms, but also caused severe constipation. Yeah, I mean, side effects are in every medical commercial. Haven't you seen them? Okay. I'm still not attributing that to racism. While she was giving the students a test, so she's having a really bad pregnancy, and the people are telling her it's a common pregnancy, as you know, she shouldn't worry. But she made her feel like her concern wasn't important. Okay, I don't. So they ignored the lady. They thought it was different. She was pleading with them that she's in pain. Her stomach starts aching, and they couldn't find the source of the issue after several tests. So I'm not seeing the racism correlation here. Then they monitored her heartbeat, and then they gave her a procedure, and she started vomiting. And she almost died, which is terrible. This is terrible. I'm not rocking this lady. And then she comes through. She has her baby. It's great. I am waiting for the racism part. Okay? Okay. Maternal sepsis is a leading cause of maternal mortality in America. Just so you know, I'm reacting to this for the first time. I only saw it for school yesterday. Black women are twice as likely to. All AP is doing right here is citing facts, right? They're citing facts that saying Black people are more likely to have these complications in pregnancy. Show me the racism, right? But for slow misdiagnosis, also the result of biased structural racism in medicine and incentive care that is to patients, particularly Black women, not being heard. Particularly Black women. I thought this was about pregnancy. Of course it's going to be a woman. Who else is going to have the baby? Most people, according to this survey, said that they're satisfied with their care and feeling respected. Her son Malik was born 8 weeks early, weighing 5 pounds. He went into intensive care. He's fine now. He's 3 years old, and he feels guilty that. And these are some pictures of a beautiful child. Oh, children. 2 children. Okay, look. They're trying to link it to slavery, right? Slavery happened over 150 years ago. This is terrible. The healthcare back then was awful. It was racist and it was wrong. Like what's here? But that was 150 years ago. But I'm not seeing how it ties to now. Like what happened in the 1840s? It's not tying now, right? Until the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Remember, it's 2023. Okay, it's been over 50, 60 years. Okay. Which caused deep-rooted distrust of healthcare institutions among communities of color. Maybe, but I mean, she's a second-generation woman. I don't, like, she wasn't back then. None of these abuses happened to her. She's like 30, I think. This happened to her in 2019. I don't see how the history of what happened in the 1840s, what happened in the 1920s, is going to matter. Some healthcare providers still hold false beliefs about biological differences between black and white people, such as black people having less sensitive nerve endings, thicker skin, and stronger bones. These have caused people to rate black patients' beliefs lower and recommend less relief. Okay, that's bad, but it's bad science. But it could have affected that, but I'm pretty sure it's not affecting that much. They also don't name the providers, so. Here's another picture. Black babies account for 29% of births in Alabama, but nearly 47% infant deaths. That's terrible. And all I'm seeing is a bunch of stats and old history. Right? I'll link the article in the description below. You can read this. I'm not really planning on reacting to all this, but I mean, this is terrible. It's bad. It's not good what happened to this lady, but I'm not sure that it's racist. Give me your thoughts. Bye, and God bless America.